7. For this term, we're going to be looking at some Bible stories. Now, you might be surprised that we're going to be looking at these. We're not trying to challenge any of your religious beliefs. However, it's important for you to understand that the Bible has actually influenced a lot of literature throughout history, and that's the reason that we're looking at it. Okay, so let's have a look at the vocabulary for this lesson. We're looking at honour. You might recall that when we did myths and legends last term. Now, honour is all about being moral, knowing how to do the right thing, making sure you're upholding promises, for example. So, looking at the question, why is honour a trait of an epic hero? Now, can you stop the recording, please, and just write down on a piece of paper your answer? So, thinking about that question, it has to be important because you don't want somebody that's not honourable and trustworthy to be leading an army of men. They need to know the difference between right and wrong and uphold all these promises that may have been made and be a moral leader and withstand their ground regardless. Okay, paradise. Let's have a look at the definition of paradise. An ideal or idyllic place or state often referred to as heaven. So having a look at that, having a look at the question that you've got below it, can you please think of any references or examples of paradise in any text that you may have read? Just jot them down on a piece of paper. Okay, your knowledge goal for today. Now, again, on a piece of paper, if you can stop the recording just a second and write down your knowledge goal, which is to summarise the story of the Garden of Eden and explain the concept of original sin. Your steps to success for this will be knowing who Lucifer was and how he fell from heaven, the story of the Garden of Eden, and the original sin, what the original sin is and why it's important as a concept or an idea. Okay. Who is Lucifer? Lucifer is one of the names given to the devil in the Bible. His other names are the Prince of Darkness, Beelzebub, Mephistopheles, Lord of the Flies, the Antichrist, Father of Lies, Moloch, or simply Satan. Lucifer was once an angel of God, but he became so impressed with his own beauty, intelligence, power, and position that he began to desire for himself the honour and glory that belonged to God alone. The name Lucifer in Latin meant morning star or light bringing. The sin that corrupted Lucifer was self-generated pride. As a result, Lucifer was cast out of heaven and God's grace to become the ruler of hell. It's believed that Lucifer's free will in opposing God is responsible for the creation of sin. Now, what you're going to be doing is looking at the story of the Garden of Eden. What you're going to be doing in a moment is clicking on the YouTube link that you've been given there on the screen. If you can't click on it, you can just copy and paste. And then as you're watching, I want you to make notes on what you learn about this story. So click on that link and watch the video, please. Now, what I want you to do is to read the story of the Garden of Eden. You can download this if you want to and just highlight any of the bits that you think are the main points. And using these notes and your notes that you got from the video as well, I want you to write a summary of this story. Now, to write a summary, what you're doing is you're picking out the key points that you have actually listened and found out about this story, and you're going to be writing them in your own words. So stop the video now and write those key points down as a summary. The original sin. So what is the original sin? The Bible tells us that Eve, allowing herself to be manipulated by the servant, believed to have been the devil in disguise, and eating the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge, is the first or original sin of mankind. It also makes it clear that Eve is responsible for Adam's sin, as she gave him the fruit. Now, to be manipulated means that somebody is making you do something, possibly something that you don't really want to do, and doing it anyway, okay? As a result of Eve's original sin, both Adam and Eve and all of their children and descendants are never allowed back in the Garden of Eden. It's considered that what Eve did was wrong. She was considered to be very manipulative, very sly and underhanded, and therefore encourage Adam to do something that he probably wouldn't have done in the first place. Now, thinking about this original sin, it's had an impact on women throughout history, because women are considered maybe not as good as men. Men are considered a bit more superior, and tend to rule and be stronger than women in many ways. Women are the ones that are considered, as I said before, to be quite sly and maybe not trustworthy enough to actually merit being considered such good characters. So what I want you to do now is write an explanation of what the original sin is, what it was that Eve did, okay, what she did with Adam and the piece of fruit, okay, and thinking about how this has impacted on society and how they view women throughout history, because it's quite sad to think that, you know, we can't be trusted just because of something that happened so long ago. So stop the video and write an explanation down for me, please. Finally, looking at honour, the key words, one of the key words. Do you actually think Eve is presented as being without honour in the story? So stop the video and write down your answer. Paradise. How do you think the Garden of Eden has shaped our image of paradise? Has it made you think that paradise is somewhere that is actually as good as you thought, or maybe not as good as it has sometimes been portrayed?